Well, Nathan, Gunnar, congratulations, guys. You're moving forward in the third and final round of this competition. You made your first blades out of guillotines, and we're going to continue on with the darker side of history theme by asking you to build this blade 4 days. The Executioner's Sword.
The Executioner's Sword performed its bloody work in 16th century Central Europe. Unlike combat swords, this lethal blade features a straight, double-edged cutting blade with a blunt tip, perfect for swiftly chopping off the heads of criminals. This deadly weapon was used on many aristocratic felons rather than the axe, since it allowed the victim to meet his end in a dignified kneeling position rather than laying face down with his head on the block. While the Executioner's Sword fell out of use in the early 18th century, this gruesome sword is still wielded in the 2019 video game Mordhau.
The Bladesmiths, good luck. We will see you in 4 days.
My name is Nathan Anderson from West Valley, Utah. I'm a maintenance worker at the Utah's Hogle Zoo. I loved animals, and there's not too many places where I can be welding and look up and see a giraffe right there. If I win Forged in Fire, the $10,000 is gonna go to taking my wife on a trip to go looking for Bigfoot.
Heat treat coming up. Just don't want to rush it. I don't want to break it, because that would be bad. All right. I don't think that anything went wrong. I feel pretty good about the quench. Should be able to clean everything up and move on forward from here. So now it's time to start working on the guard. I've got my finials right there. Hopefully those won't add too much weight for what I want to go for, but I think I'm sitting pretty good for right now. There we go. I've got the guard fitting where I want it to.
I need the handle comfortable so that it's not a reason to be sent home.
Good as it's gonna get, and then we'll pin it. So I start engraving skulls and some flames and things like that to kind of make it my own. Pretty close. Let's give it a test. This blade is so good, I can smell Bigfoot now.
My name is Gunnar Wilbanks. I'm a high school football coach and teacher, and I'm a part-time bladesmith. My wife loves it. Every time I make a knife, I bring it in to her. Both of my daughters and my son, they all have to hold it. As it turns out, we all love blades. A few hours in, and I'm almost halfway there. Kind of forgot what it was like in the little man's world just working with a hammer, because I don't have the power tools. I'm having trouble getting it heated evenly because my forge is short. Every time I slide my blade through, it's so long it wants to droop on one end. Well, every time that I'm getting down here and getting the back end of it hot, the front end of it's cooling off. We gotta get the timing right here. I get it in the quench tank. I don't feel any tings, I don't feel any cracks, anything like that. That's not a sound you want to hear. It's soft on both ends. That's not gonna work. Plan B is to go in for a second quench, and instead of laying the blade flat, I'll lay it upright. Maybe I'll be able to hold the heat a little bit better that way, and the blade's not gonna sag on me. If the quench doesn't go well, I go all the way back and start at ground zero. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I'm elated that I'm actually gonna be able to use this blade. It seems to be going great. All right, so far, so good. And hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise, they might say you're the Forged in Fire champion. It will kill.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. The Executioner's Sword. That word alone just gives you visions of decapitated heads. So to find out what kind of lethal damage your Executioner's Sword can do, I'll deliver some, well, lethal blows on this ballistics dummy. Nathan, is it time?
It's time, have fun.
Holy crap. Just a little off the top. All right, Nathan. First up, this is a heavy beast. It is so forward heavy that you need two hands to control that. Now, your handle construction is smooth, I'll give you that. But it also feels a little bit rounded over here where it actually gives me much more control sideways than it does this way. But overall, your weapon, sir, it will kill.
Awesome.
All right, Gunner, your turn. So you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's do this. All right, Gunner, let's talk about your executioner sword over here. Your blade right here has a finer grind, so it makes it a little bit lighter. And the edge that you have here, when it came to that skull, just glided into that. Overall, sir, your executioner sword, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test, the skull and bone chop. Now, to test the overall construction of your blades, as well as how they feel while they're being used, I'll be chopping into these skulls and that nasty giraffe bone. Nathan, you're up. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Have fun. Holy giraffe.
All right, Nathan, so right off, man, this thing is heavy. Once you get it moving, it's going, but controlling it's tough. Having said that, your edge held it beautifully. It's still just as sharp as when I started, which is pretty darn sharp. So good job on that.
Thanks. I like sharp things.
Gunner, ready?
What if I said no?
I'd say, you don't watch the show much, do you?
Exactly.
All right, so Gunner, right off, lighter blade, easier to control. A lot of that has to do with the fact that you've got more handle here. Now your blade, it's got some compacting on the edges, but I wouldn't run my finger down this edge. It's still plenty sharp. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bladesmiths, this is the sharpness test, the jackfruit and water jug slice. Nathan, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir. Have fun.
All right, let's do this.
Still sharp.
All right, Nathan. As far as the downward chop, it's a very clean cut, easy, no resistance whatsoever. Now, when I was cutting, as soon as I met the resistance of the water, it kind of rolled on my hand. But anything that it did have contact with, it was able to cut. Overall, sir, your weapon, it will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Gunner, your turn. So you ready?
Yes, sir, I am.
Let's do this. All right, Gunner. The handle construction you have here is wide and ovoid enough to where when I hold onto it, I can really tell where the edge is, and it's much easier to control a blade like this. In the slice, you can see that cuts nicely. Overall, sir, your weapon, it will cut.
Thank you.
Well, bladesmiths, only one of you can leave here with the title of Forged and Fire Champion and get that check for $10,000. Now, the judges discussed your blades, and they made a final decision. Today's Forged and Fire Champion is... Gunner, congratulations. Now, Nathan, you fought hard, man, but unfortunately your blade didn't make the cut. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thanks, bud.
Well, I'm gonna have to find a different way to take my wife to go see Bigfoot, but we're still gonna go.
Well, Gunner, that makes you the Forged and Fire Champion. You just got yourself a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. I just won Forged and Fire.
Feeling good?
I mean, I've never thought I would make it this far from day one. I don't necessarily think that I'm a better smith than any of these other guys. It just worked out in my favor today. As far as the money, after football season ends, my wife and I will probably take a long weekend somewhere.
Well, Greg, Eric, gentlemen, congratulations. You're moving forward in the third and final round of this competition. You get 4 days at your home forges to build another iconic weapon from the Wild West. Gentlemen, we want you to build this. This is the Vaquero Machete.
The Vaquero Machete became widely popular with the original cowboys of the Southwest during the 20th century. Featuring a thin, slightly curved blade, the weapon was much lighter and easier to carry than the larger machetes previously used by the cowboys, making it ideal to deliver damaging slashes and chops on everything from brush to enemies on the great frontier. The rich history and culture of the cowboys who carried this weapon can be found on display at the Bullock Museum in Austin, Texas.
So good luck. We will see you in 4 days.
My name is Gregory McClure. I am 50 years old. I'm from Tacoma, Oklahoma. Knife making has always been a deep-seated passion. My grandfather pulled me in when I was 10 years old. We found a piece of metal alongside the road, and ever since then, I started making custom knives.
All right, she is cooking. Woo! Like a June bride. Okay. Straight blade. Everything's coming out nicely. It's like it's supposed to. The gas foundry is what I'm going to be making the guard and the pommel out of. You carve the exact thing you want to cast out of foam. This is what it will look like when we get done. Then you pack it in green sand. Here we go, you ready? And as you pour the molten metal on it, it evaporates the foam and leaves you with the shape that you desired. That was good, guys. That's exciting. After a little bit of sanding, it looked great. The one thing you need to worry about with this kind of handle is not getting your pieces glued well enough. My competition's gonna be good, but at the end of the day, he's gonna bring his best, I brought my best, we'll see what happens. I think that'll work.
My name is Eric Finch. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Harmony, Pennsylvania, and I've been bladesmithing for almost 3 years. When I first got into bladesmithing, I didn't have a lot of money, and my Uncle Chuck, he was super supportive. He got me my first anvil. He really had a lot of faith in me getting into this, and so being here, it feels like it's finally rewarding him for what he's done for me. My game plan is to start with Damascus. I'm gonna start out with 20 pieces, shooting for a 60 to 70 layer in the end. So I got my billet, welded up in the forge last night, got it quenched and in the temper. For today, thinking about starting working on the pommel. I knew my dad and my brother were out hunting with the hawks. I had them stop over so that you get a nice look at a 3D bird. My dad's been a falconer since before I was born, so I've always had hawks my entire life. It's very lucky that I'm able to incorporate this, because that way I can do a direct comparison. I'm getting ready to go into gluing the handle. And then once I get all the cleanup finished, pretty much all I have to do is add an edge and it'll be done. And I'm really proud of how this looks.
Howdy, partners. Welcome to the keel test. Your Vaquero machetes look beautiful, but how lethal are they? To find that out, I'm gonna take their machetes and deliver some lethal blows on this big carcass. Greg, you feel lucky?
Oh, very lucky.
All right, let's do this. All right, Greg, the leather wrapping that you have here is nice and smooth. The handle is ovoid. The one thing though, that's just a lot of handle. And because you have a smooth handle right here, a couple of times my hand just slid down. But your edges are sharp. Those are razor sharp cuts. Overall, sir, you will kill.
Thank you, Doug.
Eric, your turn. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks, dude.
All right, Eric, let's talk about your Vaquero Machete here. What I like about it is that it just fits my hand perfectly, so it's locked in there. Now your edge, that's a chevron right there all the way up. Those are very sharp, deep cuts, even on thrusting. Overall, sir, you will kill.
Good to hear.
Hola Vaqueros, welcome to our strength test, the fence board and skull chop. All right, Greg, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
So Greg, right off, blade held up beautifully. This thing is just as sharp as when I started. Feels like a great fighter to me. Only complaint I have is that long handle, but other than that, the artistry is really well done. That's a joy to use. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Eric, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, so first off, Eric, very different grind on this edge with that secondary bevel, but it's wicked sharp, and it's still sharp. Held up fine. Didn't lose any blade at all. No rolls, no chips, nothing. It's still as straight as when I started. Good job.
Awesome, thank you.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the sharpness test, the gunslinger slice. Greg, you're up first. You ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, giddy up. All right, Greg, nicely done. Those are very sharp, clean cuts on, I'd say, at least 3 layers of clothing. Your weapon, it will cut.
Thank you.
Eric, your turn, sir. Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. All right, Eric, the edges are sharp enough to cut through all layers and expose some of the blood. Overall, sir, your weapon, you'll cut.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I got to say, both of you impressed us from the very beginning of this competition. The first 2 rounds, you guys crushed it. But in this competition, as you know, only one of you can leave here as a Forged and Fire champion and receive that check for $10,000. The Forged and Fire champion is Eric. Congratulations, you did it. Well, Greg, I hope you had as much fun working here as we had watching you. That is an unbelievably stunning piece, but unfortunately, your time in this competition has ended. I want to say thank you for coming, but at this point in time, I'm going to have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Thank you. I have no shame coming in second to this young man. The check would have been nice, the title would have been nicer, but remember, I'm still the fastest blade in the West.
Well, Eric, you are the Forged and Fire champion, and you're receiving a check for $10,000. Congratulations. How you feeling?
Crazy. Never thought I'd be here this young. I don't even know how to react. It feels surreal. From start to finish, it's been a crazy, crazy competition, and my uncle, he was probably my biggest drive to win it. Uncle Chuck, this was for you.